Boolean, as we know, is a simple concept in programming that represents something being either true or false, like a light switch that's either on or off. Booleans are super important because they're the foundation for making decisions in code, which is what we'll explore with the if-else statement first. But before we dive in, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Skywork. Just like Booleans, Skywork is designed to help you make smarter decisions with AI, delivering an unmatched experience when it comes to AI agents. But these aren't just any AI agents. They're super agents, built on deep research and designed to make modern work and study more efficient. Don't believe me? Well, head over to skywork.ai and you'll find tools that can make your life as a web developer way easier. For example, Skywork has an AI agent that helps you generate documents. Need an academic paper, a research report, a blog post, business proposal, resume, summary, or even a marketing ad for your 9th failed SaaS idea? Skywork's got you covered. Once you click Generate, it organizes the information using a personalized clarification form. This helps lock in key details like the document title, language, and other prompt-specific inputs before getting started. The result? A more comprehensive and accurate output. Then, the Skywork super agent gets to work, initiating deep research based on your prompt. Yes, deep research, and it's seriously impressive. Skywork actually leads the Gaia Agent Leaderboard and Simple QA score, ranking alongside top performers like OpenAI. Why? Because Skywork has a feature called source tracing. You can actually see all the sources your content came from, which adds credibility and builds trust. And Skywork isn't just for documents. You can also generate slides. If you need a quick deck for a stand-up meeting, project goals, roadmaps, wireframes, or a tech overview, Skywork can do that too. The possibilities are endless. You can download your slides in various formats: Google Slides, PowerPoint, even HTML. Now let's talk about data. As web developers, we deal with tons of it, especially in spreadsheets. And let's be real, we're lazy when it comes to manual data analysis. Thankfully, Skywork helps you visualize and analyze your data effortlessly. Just upload your CSVS or connect a Google Analytics export, and Skywork will generate clean tables and auto-analyze charts. And here's something even cooler. Skywork has a knowledge base, your team's shared brain. You can upload documents, paste frequently asked questions, or connect your cloud files like Google Docs or PDFs. The AI instantly learns from them. For web devs, that means instant answers from API docs, client notes, or internal workflows, without digging through folders or Slack threads. And since we're web developers, let's talk web pages. Skywork lets you instantly prototype whatever you're imagining. Whether it's a rapid MVP for your 100th side project or a quick design mockup for a client pitch, Skywork helps you move fast and present faster. And yes, you can even create a podcast inside Skywork. How cool is that? Now let's talk about the generalist agent. This agent is powered by 10+ model context protocols, MCPs, meaning it can search the web and crawl real-time info, retrieve images and documents, do analytical reasoning, generate images and speech, run stock queries, and more. Combine those, and yes, you can even create full videos. Skywork also open sources their deep research agent framework on GitHub and Hugging Face. So if you're a developer, you can dig in and see how the magic happens. With Skywork, you can import files and generate production-ready web pages, slides, docs, and more in just one click. No more tedious layout work or browser bugs, just clean, responsive code instantly. Try Skywork today and focus on what matters, building great experiences. And now let's get back into the video. What is the if-else statement? The if-else statement is like giving your program a way to make choices. Imagine you're deciding what to wear based on the weather. If it's raining, you grab an umbrella. If it's sunny, you wear sunglasses. That's exactly what if-else does in code. For example, let's say we're building a website that determines whether a person is a kid or an adult based on their age. First, we need to declare a number variable called age. Here, let's say the person's age is 10. We want to create a condition where if this person is below 18, we say they're a kid. If they're 18 or older, we say they're an adult. This is a perfect job for an if-else statement because we're making a decision based on a true or false condition. To declare an if statement, we write if, followed by parentheses and curly braces. Here's what it looks like. What you see is the if syntax in JavaScript. Syntax is like the grammar rules of a programming language. It's the specific way you have to write code, so the computer understands what you're telling it to do. Just like in English, where you need a subject and a verb to make a proper sentence, in JavaScript, you need to follow the right syntax to make an if statement work. If you write it wrong, the computer gets confused, like if you wrote a sentence with no verbs. For an if statement, the syntax is the exact structure. The word if, parentheses for the condition, and curly braces for the code that runs if the condition is true. Let's break down the if syntax step by step. The word if tells the computer you're about to check a condition. The parentheses are where you put the condition, which is something that must be true or false, like a Boolean. For example, age less than 18 is a condition that's true if the age is like 10 and false if it's not. The curly braces hold the code that runs if the condition is true. This code is called the block, and it can have one line or many lines of instructions. Let's say we want to print to the console that a person is a kid if their age is below 18. Then let's check our console. We can see that the condition is true since 10 is less than 18. Of course, we can add more than just one line of code inside this block. For example, if the person's age is less than 18, we might want to do a few things. Say they're a kid, suggest a fun game for kids, and show a welcome message for the kids section of the website. But here's the problem. What if the person is older? Let's say we change the age variable to 20. Now, the condition age less than 18 is false because 20 is not less than 18. In this case, the entire if block is skipped and nothing gets printed. To handle adults, we can add an else block that suggests something different, like a feature meant for adults on the website. To declare an else block, we write else followed by curly braces. In this block, we're handling what happens when the if condition is false. In our website example, we check if someone is a kid, under 18, or an adult, 18 or older. The if block runs when the age is less than 18 and prints kid-friendly messages. The else block acts as a backup. It runs when the age is 18 or more. We don't need a condition for the else block because it runs automatically when the if is not true. It's like saying, if it's raining, take an umbrella. Otherwise, wear sunglasses. The else handles the otherwise part. Let's then add the code that will run in our else block. For example, let's log to the console that this person is an adult and suggest exploring our career resources for adults. Let's check the console. We'll see that it's showing content meant only for adults. Now, you can also use if-else statements with text or strings. For example, let's say we're building a website that helps users choose a workout plan based on their fitness level. We'll use a variable called fitness level, which is a string with the value beginner. Now, let's declare an if statement. In the parentheses, we'll check if fitness level is equal to the text beginner. If it is, we'll log, you are a beginner. Let's start easy. Next, let's add an else block. This part will run if the person is not a beginner. Inside the else block, we'll log a message like, you're advanced, ready for a challenge? So, if we check the console, we'll see the message from the if block. Because fitness level is set to beginner, and the condition is true. But if we change fitness level to advanced, the condition becomes false, and the else block runs instead showing, you're advanced. Now, what if we want to check for another level, like intermediate? We could add another if statement, but there's a better way. Use an else if block. The else if block lets us check multiple conditions. Not just true or false like a basic if else. Let's add one. Inside the parentheses, we'll check if fitness level is intermediate. And in the code block, we'll log, you're at an intermediate level. Time to step it up. By adding an else if block, we've made our if-else statement more flexible. It can now handle different situations. You can add as many else if blocks as you need to cover more cases. To really understand how conditions work, let's also talk about comparison operators. Earlier, we used the loose equality operator in our if-else statement. Loose equality checks if two values are equal after converting them to the same type. For example, in our fitness code, we wrote fitness level equals beginner, which checks if the variable's value matches the string beginner and returns true or false. But we can make our comparisons more strict. Let's say we're checking a password variable against the string nova for a website login. When we run this, the console says, password is correct. But hold on, our password is lowercase nova, and we're comparing it to nova with an uppercase N. Why did it still work? That's because we used loose equality, which is more relaxed. It tries to make the values match by converting their types, but that's not what we want here. It can even ignore things like case in some situations. For a login, we need to be very strict, especially for security reasons. That's where strict equality or triple equal comes in. Just add one more equal sign. And now the comparison checks both the value and the type, exactly as they are. Now the console says, password is wrong. Why? Because strict equality checks both the value and the type, and it's case sensitive. So nova, lowercase, is not exactly the same as nova, uppercase. That makes the condition false, so the else block runs. But if we change password to nova, it works. The console says password is correct, because now the case matches exactly. What if we want to check if two values are not the same? That's where inequality comes in. Inequality operators return true when values are different, and false when they're the same. JavaScript gives us two types. Loose inequality, it tries to convert types before comparing, and strict inequality, which checks both value and type, and doesn't allow type conversion. These are just the opposites of loose equality and strict equality. They're super useful when you want your code to react to wrong inputs or guide users when something's not right. For example, imagine your website has a quiz. The correct answer is Mars. If the user types something else, we want to check that it's not Mars so we can show them a hint. In this code, user answers Jupiter. We use the loose inequality operator to check if it's not equal to Mars. Since Jupiter is different from Mars, the condition is true and the if block runs, showing the hint. If user answer were Mars, the condition would be false and the else block would say correct. But why use loose inequality instead of the loose equality operator? Couldn't we just flip the logic, check if user answer equals to Mars and swap the if-else blocks? Let's try it. This works too, but it feels a bit different. With loose equality, we're checking for the right answer first, which is fine, but in a quiz, users are more likely to get the answer wrong. Using loose inequality is like a teacher saying, if the answer isn't Mars, let's give them a hint. It focuses on catching mistakes first, which is super helpful for quizzes, forms, or any feature where you expect errors. It's a natural way to guide users when their input isn't what you want. Now let's check out comparison operators for numbers. Earlier in our if-else example, we used the less than operator to check if an age variable was less than 18. This is like asking, is the number on the left smaller than the one on the right? We can also use the greater than operator to check if the number on the left is bigger. There's also a greater than or equal to check if the left number is bigger or the same, and less than or equal to see if it's smaller or the same. Here, age is 18. The condition age less than 18 is false, because 18 is not bigger than 18. But age greater than or equal to 18 is true, because 18 is equal to 18. So, the console says, you're 18 or over, right on the line. These operators help your code make decisions, like deciding who can use a feature based on their age. Let's quickly recap what we've learned. We talked about if-else statements, which help your code make choices. It checks something like, is it cold? If it's true, do one thing like wear a jacket. If it's false, do something else, like wear a t-shirt. Comparison operators are used to ask questions like checking if 5 equals 5, true, or if 10 is greater than 7, also true. They make things true or false. Then else if helps when you need more options. Instead of just if this, else that, you can have more choices, like when if it's sunny, go out. Else if it's cloudy, take a walk. Else if it's rainy, stay in. Else just relax. It gives your code more paths to choose from. Everything we learned in this video is also in our PDF playbook. It will help you remember important things like the if-else statement and comparison operators. Inside the PDF, there are fun exercises to practice. What's next? In the next video, we'll talk about loops, one of the coolest and most powerful tools in coding. Now that's it for now, Novas. Thank you for watching.